Okay, let's start off by looking at where we can find hover text and its associated settings. So here in System Settings, I'm going to come into Accessibility. And then from in here, we'll go into hover text. And you'll see there's actually 3 different features in here, all of which we're going to cover. We've got hover text, we've got hover color, and we've got hover typing. Let's look at hover text first. And it says down here you can press Command to display a large text view of the item under the pointer. Well, you may find that a little bit difficult to see. However, if I toggle hover text on and then bring my pointer back, I'm going to press Command and then just move my pointer a tiny bit. And you can see that text is really magnified there, much easier to read. I'll press Command again and just move it a tiny bit. And I'm keeping my finger on the Command key, and you'll see as I'm moving the pointer, all of the text below is magnified. Now, this doesn't work in every application, but it does work in a large number of them. Let's take a look at a few examples of where this can be really useful. So here in Safari, we've all been on websites like this, where the top is great. We've got lots of big tiles and huge landing points for you to click to buy stuff. They certainly wouldn't want any of this being missed. So it's all big and in your face. And then you get to the bottom. So those terms and conditions that have to be there, but you need to really squint in order to be able to see them. Well, not so anymore. Just hover over and press the Command key and the text appears. Now, if you do hover over a paragraph or a large passage of text that doesn't quite fit in the hover text window there, you can actually scroll. So I'm just using the thumb wheel on my mouse at the moment to slowly make my way down. As I'm using my mouse to control the pointer, I could also use my trackpad to do this as well if I wish. But this way I can view everything here in line on the website. And it's great for just getting to those pieces of text that you just can't quite see. Another good use for hover text is when you're using Finder. So sometimes it can be hard to read file names, but just press Command wherever the pointer is, and you'll see the file or folder name below. You'll even see some behavior maybe you don't expect. Like if I hover over here, we can see it's saying that the folder has collapsed. Then I can come down here, see the file names below. And then down here, we see this folder has collapsed. Whereas if I expand it, it now says expanded. It's really quite useful. Of course, not just for the file names, but it's going to work over here in these columns as well. Do you ever find yourself looking at log files and struggling to read them? Well, hover text, of course, is going to sort that for you as well. If I open up this crash report for 1Password here, I'm going to press Command and open it up. And just like with our Safari window earlier, I can use the scroll wheel on my mouse to show the contents of the report. And it's so much easier than trying to fiddle about with zooming in or putting on my slightly stronger glasses. Now, we do have some configuration settings available for hover text. If I click on this I button here, we can see at the top here, we can switch the keyboard modifier from Command and use either Option or Control. I'm going to keep it at Command. And then down here, we've got quite a handy little toggle. So whichever keyboard modifier you've got selected, having this enabled means that if you tap it quickly 3 times, then hover text is going to stay activated and you can take your finger safely off the keyboard. So if I do exactly that, I can now freely move about with my mouse with my hand off the keyboard. And then if I triple tap again, we see that notification telling us the hover text is unlocked. So down here, you can change the text size. So perhaps 60 is not large enough. We can change it to 100. And with that set, if I come over here and enable hover text, even with my fading eyesight, that's kind of too big. So I'm going to come back and set it back to 60. There's other appearance options here. So for example, you can change the font for the text. You can change the color. So perhaps you want it to contrast against the source text. Maybe I'll set this as red. And then the background color here, I'll set as black. And you'll see now as I come over and enable, that's quite a nice effect there that may suit you. Or not, of course, but it's nice knowing that you can change the color of the background and the font to something that's easy for you to read. Then over here, you can change the border color of the hover text window. as well as the element highlight color. So if I change that to say magenta and then click done, you'll see that as I enable hover text and come over the different elements here, there's a small border appearing so you know exactly what you're hovering over.